So imagine finding out that your best friend of like 10 years, someone you totally trust with your life, someone you literally live with, is harboring this dark, unforgivable secret.
Oh, this is such a good one.
Right, like they hate dogs and puppies.
Just fundamentally anti-puppy.
Exactly. Now, I want you to imagine trying to process that profound betrayal while simultaneously dealing with the existential dread of turning 30 and, trying to plan a massive wedding.
It is a lot.
It's so much. But welcome to today's deep dive. We are so glad you're here with us.
Yeah, it really is quite the emotional cocktail today. We're taking a look at a very specific, totally iconic era of the sitcom Friends.
Which is just packed.
It is. We're focusing on this collection of moments that somehow just perfectly capture the absolute chaos of transitioning into actual adulthood.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Because looking at the source material we pulled together, it's honestly wild how much is happening at once.
Oh, absolutely.
You usually think of growing up as this, I don't know, this linear, dignified process. Like you hit a milestone, you cross it off the list, and boom, you mature.
Right, the checklist of life.
Yeah, but the reality, especially in your late 20s and early 30s, is that you are trying to navigate these massive, life-altering moments while like actively arguing over something completely absurd.
Which is exactly what gave this particular era of the show its staying power, I think.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the jokes are incredibly sharp, but the true brilliance lies in how the writers explored the evolution of friendship when the real world just starts closing in on you.
Yeah, the real world gets heavy.
It does. It captures that friction between the carefree people they used to be, just hanging out in the coffee shop all day, and the adults they're desperately trying to become.
That friction is actually the perfect place to start. Let's look at the biggest anchor in the material we have today, which is major relationship milestones. Specifically, Monica and Chandler's engagement. I mean, Monica is so excited. She is literally screaming it from the balcony to anyone walking by on the street.
Just yelling at strangers.
Totally yelling. She wants the entire world to know she is finally a bride. But while everyone is supposed to be celebrating her, an unexpected moment between Ross and Rachel completely pulls the focus.
Yes, the legendary stolen thunder incident.
So good.
Ross and Rachel share a kiss in the hallway. Monica catches them, and just an all-out war ensues.
And think about it from your perspective, right? It's like you're at your own birthday party, you tap your glass to make a toast, and your best friend suddenly stands up and announces they just bought a house.
Oh, completely derails the energy.
It ruins it. But I have to ask, and I want to push back on this a little bit, just based on what we know about the characters, is Monica's reaction here actually profound?
What do you mean?
Well, we've seen her act like an absolute tyrant over like a simple game of Pictionary. She is notoriously obsessed with being in charge. So why should we read this outrage as anything deeper than her usual hyper-controlling micromanagement?
Well, okay, on the surface, it absolutely plays into her need for control. I mean, she has a schedule, and Ross and Rachel kissing is not on the itinerary.
Definitely not.
But if we dig into the psychology of her character's history, the vulnerability is a real driving force here.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. For years, Monica has been the one watching her friends navigate these massive, dramatic, romantic arcs that command everyone's attention.
Oh, that's true.
Think about Ross and Rachel's entire history. They have sucked the oxygen out of the room for years. And before that, she was the quote-unquote fat sister who lived in Ross's shadow.
Right, she's always been kind of sidelined in her own family.
Exactly. So this engagement is her definitive milestone. It is the one moment she gets to be the undisputed main character.
Okay, I see. So when they kiss in the hallway, it's not just an interruption. It's like a direct threat to her finally getting the spotlight she feels she's earned.
Precisely. And that desperation to control the milestone bleeds directly into the wedding planning that follows.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it really does.
The sources detail how Monica becomes just obsessed with every single microscopic element of the wedding. The appetizers, the precise seating arrangements.
It becomes this all-consuming military operation.
It does. While Chandler's just trying to survive the stress.
He's literally just nodding along to whatever appetizer she puts in front of him. But why does the show spend so much time on the minutia of the seating charts? Like, why is that so important?
Because a seating chart is actually a brilliant visual metaphor for shifting social structures.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah. An upcoming wedding forces the entire friend group to confront how their dynamics are inevitably going to change. For years, their primary family unit has been each other, the found family.
Right, they basically live in each other's pockets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But Chandler and Monica getting married means they're forming a new permanent family unit of their own. The group dynamic will never be exactly the same.
So the seating chart is...
Monica obsessing over where everyone sits at the reception is her trying to physically micromanage those changing relationships in real time.
That is fascinating. She's trying to physically arrange their shifting lives so she doesn't lose the people she loves.
Exactly.
And that realization that a friend stepping into a new phase holds a mirror up to the rest of the group, that actually brings us perfectly to the next major thread in our sources. Because it's not just the people around you changing, right? It's the ticking clock of your own life.
Oh, the chronological milestones, which honestly are often far more terrifying than the relationship ones.
Absolutely. The sources highlight Rachel's struggle with turning 30. Her birthday becomes this intense mix of, fond memories and just outright panic.
She completely spirals. She does.
Yeah.
She realizes the guy she's dating, Tag, is much younger than her, and she ends up breaking up with him because he doesn't fit the timeline she suddenly feels she has to follow.
Psychologists actually have a term for this.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's called the social clock. It refers to the culturally preferred timing of major life events like marriage, parenthood, career milestones.
Right.
And 30 is one of those massive societal markers where the social clock rings incredibly loud. Society collectively signals that by 30, you must have it all together.
And she starts doing the math out loud. It's hilarious, but so stressful.
Well, it's agonizing to watch.
She says she needs to meet a guy, date him for a year, be engaged for a year, be married for a year before having a baby, and suddenly she realizes she is already behind schedule.
Yep.
So what does this all mean? Are they just poking fun at vanity? Or is there a specific mechanism at play in making her panic so intensely?
Well, they're providing a psychological release valve for the audience. The brilliance of the sitcom format is its ability to take a universal anxiety, like the fear of falling behind your peers, and make it digestible.
Because we've all been there.
Everyone at some point looks around and thinks, wait, should I be further along by now?
Right.
By putting that fear into Rachel, a character who is usually so fashionable, confident, and put together, it validates the audience's own very real fears.
It grounds the comedy in genuine human emotion. I mean, if she were just making superficial jokes about getting wrinkles, it would feel pretty flat.
It would just be vanity. But because she's actually doing that terrifying mental math, because she is genuinely comparing her achievements to Monica's engagement and feeling like she comes up short, the audience gets to process their own existential dread through her. You get to laugh at the absurdity of the social clock, which makes it feel just a little less powerful in your own life.
You laugh because the alternative is to just sit there and cry about your own timeline.
Exactly.
But the genius of this era of the show, and what the source material highlights so well, is the pacing. They don't let you sit in that heavy existential dread for too long.
No, they don't.
They figured out that the only way to survive the crushing weight of adulthood is to embrace the absolute unpredictable nonsense going on in the background.
Well, a sitcom cannot survive on A plots alone. You need the B plots to provide whiplash.
And the whiplash here is incredible, because here's where it gets really interesting. While Rachel is doing the terrifying math on her biological clock, and Monica is stressing over the permanence of marriage.
We get the revelation of Chandler's darkest secret.
Yes, Phoebe is secretly hiding a dog, a puppy named Clunkers, in the apartment.
Such a great name.
Chandler pretends he is violently allergic, but the group eventually breaks him down, and he finally confesses he just hates dogs.
And in the context of this specific friend group, that is treated like a war crime.
It is a reality-breaking revelation. His defense is amazing, too. He says they're needy, they're jumpy, and you can't tell what they're thinking.
And the gang is just looking at him like he's an alien.
Right, and think about how relatable that dynamic is. It's like finding out your best friend secretly hates pizza.
Yeah.
Or sunshine.
Or music.
Exactly. You thought you knew everything about this person, and suddenly you have to reevaluate the entire foundation of your friendship based on this one bizarre quirk.
It's pure cognitive dissonance. It forces the characters into this ridiculous heightened debate that completely derails whatever serious thing they were worried about 5 minutes prior.
And if a hidden puppy isn't absurd enough, the sources bring up Joey's career news.
Oh, Joey.
He finally gets his job back on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. His character, Dr. Drake Ramray, has been in a coma for years, and the writer's solution to bring him back, a brain transplant.
But not just any brain transplant.
No. He is getting the brain of a dying female character, Jessica Lockhart, played by Susan Sarandon.
Which is incredible casting, by the way.
It's so good. Joey literally has to practice playing a woman waking up in a man's body. He is walking around the apartment trying to channel a dramatic soap opera actress.
It's brilliant.
The storyline is so bizarre that even his friends, who are, totally used to his ridiculous career, cannot wrap their heads around it.
It's incredibly surreal. And, when you look at these storylines side by side, it seems entirely disjointed.
Yeah.
You have Monica's wedding anxiety, Rachel's aging crisis, Chandler's dog hatred, and Joey's female brain transplant.
Right. Like, how do those even belong in the same universe?
Because that collision is exactly how real life operates.
Oh, interesting.
Profound personal crises are very rarely isolated, and they almost never happen in a vacuum. You could be in the middle of a deeply serious conversation about where your life is heading, and suddenly you find yourself arguing with your roommate about whether a hot dog is a sandwich.
Right. The heavy moments never wait for a convenient time.
They don't. Life doesn't pause the silly stuff just because you are having a milestone moment. And the show captures that texture perfectly.
Yeah, it really does.
The brain transplant and the hidden puppy serve as structural reminders that no matter how serious adulthood gets, there will always be a level of absurdity that you just have to laugh at. It prevents the characters and the audience from taking themselves too seriously.
That makes total sense. It's that constant tug of war between the profound and the mundane. And, looking at the final major highlight in our sources, we see those two threads, the heavy reality of growing up and the pure absurdity of life, woven together into the ultimate synthesis.
Which is parenting.
Parenting.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, if you want to see the collision of best laid plans and absolute chaos, you just look at a parent trying to create a magical memory for their child.
Absolutely. The sources bring us to Riddis taking on the role of teaching his young son, Ben, about his Jewish heritage.
Right, for Hanukkah.
Yeah, it's Hanukkah. And Ross wants to impart this meaningful historical lesson about the Maccabees. He really wants to do it right. But it's close to the holidays, all the Santa suits are sold out, and he is forced to completely improvise a costume just to get his kids' attention. Thus, the birth of the holiday armadillo.
A giant, terrifying armadillo costume serving as Santa's representative for all of the southern states.
It is such an incredible visual. Ross is standing there in this massive shell, trying to earnestly explain the miracle of the lights.
And then Chandler walks in.
Right. He actually found a Santa suit. Ben immediately gravitates towards Santa, completely ignoring the armadillo.
Poor Ross.
And just when you think the scene can't get any more crowded, Joey bursts through the door wearing a Superman costume because he couldn't find anything else holiday-related.
It is the absolute pinnacle of visual absurdity. You have an armadillo, Santa Claus, and Superman all standing in an apartment trying to teach a child about Hanukkah.
I just marvel at the extreme lengths parents will go to for their kids. But looking at this scene from a broader perspective, is the comedy just in the crazy costumes? Or is it about the friction between Ross's, academic scholarly desire to teach his son tradition and the commercial flashy reality he actually has to compete with?
It's definitely the friction between what he planned and what he got. I mean, Ross is a scholar, right? He approaches things academically.
Right.
He has a very specific vision of how this cultural heritage should be passed down. But he is dealing with a child who expects the commercial magic of Christmas. He's literally competing with Santa Claus.
And Superman.
Yeah. So he has to adapt. What this scene encapsulates so beautifully is the core of the entire series. It's about trying to maintain your roots and your family heritage while simultaneously navigating the improvised, messy reality of your chosen family.
Right, because his chosen family is right there in the room with him.
Exactly. Ross didn't plan for Santa or Superman to be part of the Hanukkah story. But he relies on his friends, and together they create a completely new, uniquely bizarre tradition out of the wreckage of his original plan.
Wow, making tradition out of the wreckage of the original plan. That is such a perfect way to describe not just that scene, but the entire journey these characters are on.
It really reflects how modern families actually operate. It's rarely pristine, but it becomes a cherished memory precisely because it is so chaotic and uniquely their own.
When you stack all these moments up, you really see the genius of what the writers were doing here. It wasn't just the punchlines, it was the whiplash.
Yeah.
They figured out that the only way to survive the crushing weight of adulthood, whether it's Monica's desperate need to perfectly manage her wedding or Rachel's terrifying realization that her timeline is off, is to embrace the total nonsense going on around you.
You might be having a completely valid existential crisis about turning 30,
Right.
but you still have to deal with the guy in the Superman costume.
You really do.
That blend of heart and ridiculous humor is exactly why this era of the show remains so beloved. It gives you, the audience, permission to embrace the messiness of your own life.
Yeah. It's a reminder that the chaos isn't a distraction from your life. The chaos actually is your life.
Absolutely.
Which leaves me with one final thing for you to mull over as we wrap up today's deep dive.
Let's hear it.
Think about your own life and the major transitions you've been through. When you look back, is it the meticulously planned moments like that perfectly executed seating arrangement or the flawless birthday dinner that you actually remember? Or is it the unscripted, chaotic absurdities like discovering your friend's weird hatred of dogs or dealing with a wildly inappropriate holiday costume that truly end up defining your most cherished relationships?
That's a great question.
Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.